All right, everybody, thank you guys for joining us on our Saturday special. Very excited to bring on Jason Whitlock from Fearless over at the Blaze, a guy we've had on before. Jason, number one, I appreciate you taking some time in what's getting crazier and crazier by the day in our sports world that surrounds us.
Well, it's crazy all over the world. The sports world's having a hard time keep up with the crazy, but it's doing its best.
Definitely, and listen, I agree 100%. It's wild out there right now. But speaking about crazy, Draymond Green and the Warriors, we know what type of player that Draymond Green is. Say what you want about him, but at least he's consistent in what he does. Dillon Brooks, it was just announced this week, obviously he's suspended for Game 3. Is Draymond Green becoming a problem for Golden State if he cannot be on the floor? We've seen this manifest itself in important times before for the Warriors. At what point is enough enough?
Well, is he becoming a problem? I believe he's been a problem. He's been a solution for them as well. But look, Draymond Green cost the Cleveland Cavaliers a championship series cost the Golden State Warriors a championship series against the Cleveland Cavaliers when he let LeBron James bait him and get emotional, and he ended up getting tossed, and that really changed the course of that series. Draymond, the flagrant fouls, the complaining about officiating, getting into it with Memphis fans and flipping them the bird. Draymond is different kind of Dennis Rodman. And what I would say about Dennis Rodman, you guys are young, but I don't ever remember Dennis Rodman costing the Bulls, or go back before that, the Detroit Pistons, an important playoff series, and certainly not in the NBA Finals. He was a nut job and all of that, but he managed to stay within the lines and never blow up in their face in spectacular fashion the way Draymond did in that series a few years ago. And is he potentially, because again, it's going to be very hard for them to come out of the West. The Phoenix Suns, to me, are clearly the best team in the West, and the Golden State would have to do something special. And I love all the extra intangibles Draymond brings on the court. Mm-hmm. I wish he could control his personality a bit more. I think he thinks that unpredictable personality fuels his on-court performance, and I think it slightly undermines his on-court performance.
And Jason, too, to that Dennis Rodman point, it's funny you said that. That was something we were talking about earlier. Do you think the style of play and maybe the game is officiated, if Draymond played back then and Dennis played now, do you think there'd be more of, you think Dennis Rodman may have got kicked out of some games? Do you think it may be the way they're calling it a little bit different? Because, they used to let him throw hands back in the day, and it's, hey, let's shake hands and get on to the next play.
Dennis Rodman would certainly be a different player in this league. You're not as allowed to play as physical a defense as you were back then. He came up with the bad boy Pistons.
Yeah.
And so Dennis Rodman was a physical defender. He would be officiated a bit differently. But in some regards, he wouldn't be as outrageous now as he was then. Dennis Rodman was kind of out there on an island. Mm-hmm. It seems like half the guys in the NBA now have some kind of coloring, some kind of hairdo. They're all tatted up. And so, they're all a bunch of guys. Dennis Rodman was the first guy that you sat around and said, what's he trying to say with his hair? What's going on with Dennis Rodman? And now half the NBA, I look out there and I'm like, I can't figure out if I'm watching a WNBA game or an NBA game half the time. It seems like half of them spend half their time in the beauty shop, not the barber shop.
Yeah, and before I pass this to Blain, I do got to say I misspoke. Ambassador Rodman, the North Korean diplomat that we have. Right. I'm sorry. Wow. Ambassador Rodman, he was out on an island mentally while he was playing. Now he was literally going out on an island in the geopolitical world, I guess you could say.
Absolutely. Well, we're talking about hair disasters. Let's talk about another disaster, and that was the Lakers. If you're the Lakers, what's your move here? Do you think the Lakers should trade LeBron James?
No, I wouldn't, just because I think LeBron's got 2 years left playing at a high level, will perhaps play a third year. And I don't, whoever they get, if they get some young people in return, I don't see them challenging for a championship post LeBron. And so why not just ride out the LeBron circus and train? And, LeBron is going to demand whatever team he goes to, because again, it's not just about what the Lakers should do. It's like, if you're the Cleveland Cavaliers or the Utah Jazz or the Miami Heat or somebody, do you want to take on the baggage of LeBron James at the end of his career? He's probably going to demand that his son, who more than likely will be unqualified for the NBA, he's going to demand that his son be on the team with him because that's part of LeBron's vision and dream for himself at the end of his career.
Like Giannis's
and
brother.
So I would be skeptical about taking on the baggage of LeBron James. And if I'm the Lakers, I might as well ride out having the most famous, no longer the best player, but the most famous player in the NBA, just that circus, and see if you can give away Russell Westbrook for a ham sandwich and try to improve the team around him.
Well, I mean,
I'd take that trade.
Yeah, well,
I'd take a sandwich.
the Tropics got a washing machine from Onyx, so maybe the Lakers could do even better.
Well, another thing that got brought up earlier was the WNBA.
Oh, you're going to tell them that?
And we were going to talk about this earlier a little bit. And Jason, I want to see what you think. All right, I'm going to go give you a breakdown of me. I'm a smooth 6'3".
Smooth.
All right.
6'3.5".
6'3.5"
in the program.
Yes, 6'3". Pretty good handles. I still grab a rim on a good day. Pretty good jump shot. If I don't want an honest opinion here, if I were to join the WNBA right now, and I'd only join on game days because that's the only days I'd want.
Yeah.
I'm not practicing. How many points do you think I average a game, and do you think I'll win MVP first year?
Let me ask this. Did you play high school basketball?
I played 1 year high school basketball, but I was at I played football and baseball, but I was at the high school where like the basketball players played basketball.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So I'm going to give you 12 points a game in the WNBA.
Ooh, double digits.
I'll call you a shutdown defender.
For sure.
If Brittany Griner gets released from the Russian prison, you'll do a good job of shutting her down in the low post.
Let's go.
Although you might want to take some advice from Charles Barkley. If she's banging on you, you need to spin off of that.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
But anyway, that would be I don't see you as an MVP candidate. I see you as a strong contributor, double-digit scorer, great defender.
I'm
taking
that to the bank.
Come
Yeah,
on,
no,
man.
now he's going to just go start dribbling outside.
Yeah, he's gonna
but
practice.
Jason, I got to ask you, though. If the way it is right now, and you know us, we're not a political show, but just the way it is right now, if Blain goes and asks to be on a WNBA team, and he is good enough to be a double-digit scorer, they can't tell him no, right? They can't tell him no.
I do think it would be a little bit controversial if he refuses to shave his beard.
No, he
That's
can't.
the
No,
point.
Jason, he can't shave his beard.
can't.
That's the point. He's got to go out there and play as a woman, and I think we actually have a picture of what Blain would look like as a girl. But we're gonna
Okay.
you'll see that. But
Yeah, great.
I mean, you got to keep the
Look.
beard.
No, listen, you can keep your manhood, as Leah Thomas proved in swimming. You don't have to give up your penis, but you would have to give up your beard. You couldn't wear a beard.
Tough
in
choice.
The WNBA.
Tough choice. Double-digit score. It's better than what I thought.
Take it.
Well,
I'll take it.
I don't know how to follow that up. But you know what, Jason? I'll ask you about the Brooklyn Nets. Let's do that.
There you go.
All right? The Nets spent a lot of money forming this super team. Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, James Harden. That group played 16 games together. Harden's already in Philly, and the Boston Celtics just swept the Nets. So has this experiment in Brooklyn already failed, or do you see them hoisting a trophy at some point?
I don't know if I see him hoisting a trophy, but I'm not ready to call it a failure. I'm going to give it one more season. I blame Bill de Blasio, the former mayor of New York, for ruining the Nets. His little vaccine mandate. You could be on an opposing team and play in New York, but if you were on a New York team, you couldn't play at the Barclays Center. You couldn't play in New York. Bill de Blasio ruined the Brooklyn Nets. I don't blame Kyrie Irving. I don't blame Jason Kidd. I don't blame Kevin Durant. And so I want to give them one more year. I think there's something there, Irvin and Kevin Durant, and at some point Ben Simmons is going to have to take the court again, and so I want to lay eyes on that for about 30 or 40 games in a regular season before I pronounce it a failure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, last question. We're here with Jason Whitlock, Fearless. The Blaze does an unbelievable job. It's Jason Whitlock. Wake up and look outside. You know who it is. Jason, my last question for you. I know we talked about LeBron a little bit earlier. If you do look at the ratings for the NBA, no LeBron in the playoffs, but they're up. My theory is it's not even as much about LeBron not being there, but they're starting to just kind of operate in the game of basketball, and that's it. We've all know what's gone on in the NBA over the past year and a half, what's been on the court, what's been off the court. Do you think this is a good sign for the NBA to have good ratings without LeBron? And is it showing that maybe coming back to reality a little bit and focusing on basketball?
I do think the latter part of coming back to reality, focusing on basketball, has worked out well for the NBA. Ethan Strauss, who writes a great Substack on the NBA, covered this a couple of weeks ago, that quietly the NBA has shifted away from all of its social justice warrioring, and everybody's kind of stepped aside and quit talking about that and just letting the game speak for itself. I think that has allowed people to reaccess people like me who can't stand LeBron James. I'm glad he's out of the postseason and out of the playoffs. I'm not sure if that impacts other people the same way it does me. It does make the games more accessible for me to enjoy. But I think some people love to hate LeBron as well. So if LeBron were in the playoffs and people would hate watching, and so I don't think LeBron's absence is contributing to the ratings rebounding. I think just overall you can watch the games for the most part, and if you really ignore the commercials and all the little hidden messages in the commercials, it doesn't feel nearly as woke as it has in previous years.
Yeah. All right, I know I said last question, but I'm going to throw one quick one in there. Who you taking over? If you're the GM, you can pick these two players. Who you taking over the next 3 to 5 years? Ja Morant or Trae Young?
Oh, that's not even a question for me. Ja Morant.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good.
Trae Young's
Dagger.
a little too for me.
Yeah, he's a star, not a superstar.
He led the NBA in points and assists. But
Yeah, well, he also had more turnovers than made baskets in the playoffs.
Are you disagreeing? Are you taking Trae over Ja?
No, I would take Ja over Trae, but I wouldn't say Trae's not a superstar.
I think he's a star. He's a star. He's not the sun, but he's a star. So, but Jason, I appreciate you coming on, brother. Great stuff as usual. Loving the content over at the Blaze from Fearless. It's really good, man. I know we're gonna have you on again hopefully soon when you have some time. I just really appreciate you taking some time out to talk to us.
No problem. I will say this, guys. I've been wearing this black shirt all day, and people have been saying, "Hey, man, I think that black really slims you down. Look, you look like you're down a pound or two." You guys have said nothing.
Hey,
Well,
Psycho Bunny, right?
Jason?
Psycho Bunny, Jason.
Jason,
Yeah.
I was
see
gonna
you.
say something when you came on because it is slimming, but I wanted to get to the Blain and the WNBA part. That was all that was in my mind because I was so interested. But you look good. You always look good, Jay Witt. You know that.
No, I don't. But I do look.
Well, most of the
I'm
time,
telling you, I
like
look
me.
a pound and a half lighter with this shirt on. I can't believe you guys can't see it.
Well, I can
I won't
take
be able to
your
sleep
face
at night
is
'cause I
looking
didn't-
slim.
I
I mean,
didn't say it.
look, I think you could go play right now.
Hey, Jason, it's funny. I wore a Psycho Bunny shirt in here one day before they got our wardrobe set up, and they said, well, we don't want to show any other logos that we're not affiliated with. So they had me put a Blaze, because the Daily Wire has some Blaze pins around. They had me put a Blaze pin over my Psycho Bunny shirt. So there you go, free pub.
Yeah, repping the set.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Maybe I'll do that next time.
You
Hey,
can put a Crain & Co. on
Yeah,
yours.
for sure, it's easy. CNC. But no, Jason, I really appreciate it, brother. Thank you.